Welcome to the Hawks Lounge, a podcast dedicated to storytelling, learning, and uplifting content creators. I am your host, Hawk, and with me today, I have a very special guest, somebody who I respect and admire a whole lot, somebody who I met in high school and we're fellow members of Boysville. And, do you want to take it from here, Haydn?
I'm Haydn. I've known Josiah for about 4 years now. He's always been like a good guy to talk to, and he's always been there for me when I needed him. So when he said he was doing a podcast, I was really excited. I like talking to people, and I like telling stories, so that'd be pretty fun.
Hey, that's what's up. I know, personally, you've been one of the people who I've always enjoyed listening to whenever you tell your stories, because just your delivery and you're very expressive whenever you tell stories, so I really enjoyed hearing that. I have a set of questions that I want to ask you, and we're gonna start light. So the first question, do you eat cereal?
Yeah, I am lactose intolerant, but I do eat cereal on occasion. I used to eat it a lot more when I was younger, before I really realized I was lactose intolerant. I would eat cereal and feel like garbage, but I really love cereal. My favorite is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That has always been my favorite, and it will always be my favorite.
Let's go, boy. Okay, so it's one of the questions that I want to ask every guest that I have on the podcast, and I'm making a tier list, and Cinnamon Toast Crunch is S tier. No other cereal can touch it.
Exactly. No. There's no way. People like Frosted Flakes and stuff, but it's like Cinnamon Toast Crunch is just on another level.
It really is. So here's how I view cereal, right? Cereal is more of a soup, and the milk is the broth or whatever, and the actual cereal is what you eat. But a soup is just as good because of the broth. But when it's combined with the food and everything, it makes it even better. So just having the cinnamon inside of the milk, I know you're lactose intolerant, but
yeah.
I know for me it's euphoric just eating the cereal and then drinking the cinnamon milk. And it's like diabetes, but it's good for you,
It's good for the soul. It may not be good for your body, but it's good for the soul.
As it should be,
Yeah,
if you wanted something healthy, you'd cook it.
Exactly. No, because cereal, the whole experience matters. Because you'll have Frosted Flakes or Frosted Mini Wheats, and those taste pretty good on their own. But then the milk at the end is just with Frosted Mini Wheats, it's like eating sand.
Yeah.
It's so bad. But with Cinnamon Toast Crunch, it's just always a great experience the entire way.
Yeah, most definitely. All right, I got another question for you in the breakfast department. All right, so it's more of a ranking. Where do you put pancakes, waffles, and French toast?
Okay. Now, see, it depends on. I'm a very mood oriented person. It feels like it all depends on how I'm feeling. If I'm feeling I don't know, I think I would always put pancakes towards the bottom. I really like pancakes, but a lot of the time they're just too dense.
Yeah, I get that.
They're really filling. Because I like to eat a lot of different things whenever I eat. I don't just want to eat one thing. And to me, when you eat pancakes, it's like you eat one pancake and then a couple pieces of sausage and you're full. But with waffles and French toast, you can eat for me, I can eat 1 million of those and still eat the rest of my breakfast. I'm fine. If I go to Denny's or IHOP, I end up eating everything first and then waiting on the pancakes just because I know I'll have extra pancake left over. Because if I eat the pancakes first, I'm gonna leave out everything else.
Okay, I get that.
I'd say on top, I think I'm gonna go with waffles just because they're very versatile. You can put a bunch of things. Like you can have chicken waffles. You can have like waffles with like pecans, waffles with chocolate. There's a million different waffles you can have. And then French toast is good. I think it really depends on where you get, like, how it's made and where you get it from. Because if it's made really good, it's really good. But if you get a bad one, it's no good. But so I think waffles, French toast, pancakes. That's where I'm
All
going.
right. Okay, my order is pancakes, French toast, then waffles.
Huh. Look, kind of backwards. I mean, I get it. I think it's just like a preference thing.
Yeah.
But I'd 100% prefer waffles over pancakes.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I understand like the dense pancakes, but I think that's why I like them sometimes. Because I know my grandfather, he gave me the recipe to make the pancakes before, and like I tried it, but it just wasn't the same. But his pancakes were always like thick as hell.
Yeah.
And they always tasted so good because they would just soak up the syrup.
Mm-hmm. That is one thing. I think pancakes, because I remember, because every year we have breakfast at Christmas at my grandma's house. Sometimes we have steaks for breakfast, it's like a tradition. I know it sounds kind of weird, but we have steaks and like eggs and stuff for breakfast. But some years we have pancakes, and those pancakes are honestly some of my favorite. And I think it's just because of like the nostalgia and like where I am. Mm-hmm. But those pancakes always hit different.
Yeah, you mentioned you ate steak and eggs at your grandma's. If I'm not mistaken, did they have a diner? Or not a diner, a bar?
Yeah, my grandma and grandpa. So my grandma and grandpa had a bar forever, and I always hear stories of my dad growing up there. And then I used to go there a little while, and yeah, they used to serve. Well, they didn't really do much food, but mostly drinks and things like that. And I always hear stories of my dad eating like the pickles and the eggs from the jar, sitting on the bar, learning how to play pool. Because my dad's like really good at pool and stuff, and like darts, just because of like growing up in that. Mm-hmm. And then also like, I don't know, all those experiences and different people that they've met. Because my grandma knows like a million people. Like if you come into Kirby, odds are I know about 90. Like if I see people in Kirby, I know like 90% of them, just because of my family owning bars and things like that. Like my great grandma owned a liquor store down the street from my house. I mean, she's like 85 now, but like when she was younger, she ran that and she knew almost everybody in the neighborhood.
Oh, was it the Kirby liquor store, right?
It's the one, you know where the Dairy Queen is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one over there.
Oh yeah, I passed by that the other day and I thought about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dang, well that's cool, man. I mean, I can't remember the last time. I mean, I've never been to a bar, so I don't. I can't really relate right there, but you know, I think that's pretty cool. I know you're freaking phenomenal at playing pool, or at least when we played in high school.
Yeah, I learned from the best.
Yeah, the thing that really had me messed up was you did some type of trick. You put the pool stick behind your back. That threw me off because I did not know. I could not comprehend how you did that.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm a big guy, I can't really lean over the table very well. Mm-hmm. So some of the shots where I need to get at a certain angle, it's just easier for me to like put it behind my back and line it up. And it's just like my dad, you know him, he's a bigger guy as well. He taught me how to do that. And it's kind of an interesting little trick that's just makes it easier for us big guys to reach.
I mean, when you did it looked so cool. Because I never would have thought to do something like that. And I kid you not, after I saw you do that, I went home and I like watched all these YouTube videos on how to do that. I mean, I never tried it after that, but I went on a rabbit hole just watching videos on how to hit the ball.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Like if I see something interesting, like I mean, like I have so much random information in my head. Like I always used to watch Jeopardy when I was younger. But like people were watching cartoons, I'm sitting there watching Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have so much useless knowledge, and then I'll find something, get like fixated on it, and I'm just watching a million videos about it. Like there's this one thing, I don't even remember what it's called, but for some reason I would watch it while I was studying. It's like soccer mixed with volleyball. And there's like a whole yeah, I gotta look it up and I gotta send it to you. But it's these people playing volleyball, but they can only use your feet.
Oh, I think I remember seeing a clip. It looks so weird, but
it is weird, but it's really interesting to see the different like ways that they hit it. Mm-hmm. Because it's like volleyball, you hit it with your hands, and it's interesting to see that sport played with a different set of rules, more similar to a different sport. It's like it's like a mashup, and it's really interesting. And I watched like all like the championships from 2015 to like 2018.
Oh, word.
Yeah, and there's like mixed. So there's like mixed teams, like co-ed, and then there's like male teams and female teams, and they would all play each other. And I don't really think the sport is like a male-female thing, because they would have all male teams, all female teams, but then they would be playing each other, and they would have teams from like Brazil or America or any kind of like South American countries, but the majority of them were South American countries. Mm-hmm. I think they had like a Polish and an Australian team as well, but
whoa,
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, that definitely does sound interesting. I remember you showed us a video back in high school of, what was it, the championship slapping contest?
Oh, the slap boxing, yeah.
Slap boxing.
It's not slap boxing, because slap boxing is something else, but it's like a slapping competition. So they just stand there and they hold two edges of the table and just absolutely just destroy each other. And watching those, it kind of makes you think like, wow, I'm glad I got an education. I would not want to be that guy getting destroyed, because some of them is two big dudes and they're just going at it, but then some of them it's just this like 5 foot tall scrawny little guy and this like 8 foot tall big huge Russian man just destroying him. And it's like the amount of courage that it would take to stand there and take one of those slaps, I don't understand.
Yeah, same. I am quite the toothpick of a man, so I can't imagine stepping up to some 8 foot giant and letting him just put his hand in front of my face and sit there and just think to myself like, he's just about to take my head off.
Like some of them, his hand is bigger than their head. Like I feel like if he swung hard enough, he could just take it off. And it's that kind of scares me. Like the day that happens, I'm gonna be like, I'm probably not gonna watch him anymore. But
until that day,
yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing to watch.
Yeah, most definitely. I remember there was always that one guy. It didn't matter who hit him. Yeah, he wouldn't show any emotion every time that somebody would slap him. And he would always intimidate them right before slapping them by putting their hand at the exact spot that he wants to hit, then forcing his whole body into his arm and just slapping the life out of them.
Yeah, the weird part is after watching those for so long, I still don't think I've heard that guy say a single word.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't talk, he just stands, he just goes to work. He's there, he's focused, he's hitting people. That's it. He doesn't
like, I came here to do one thing.
Exactly. That he doesn't care. He doesn't want to do an interview. He's just gonna hit people and go home.
Mm-hmm. Get his medal or a trophy or whatever they give him. Heck, they probably don't even need to give him that. He just do it on his own.
He just does it for fun.
Yeah. Oh man, those videos are always entertaining to watch, only because I could never do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just go into the next question, because I don't know how to segue into this other one. So I have written down, do you remember how we met each other? And if so, how do you remember it?
Honestly, I don't know. The entirety of like freshman year was kind of a blur because I do remember. Did we met freshman year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like my whole friend group coming together, or I guess our whole friend group coming together. I just kind of remember people just gravitating, and I remember people just being there, but I don't exactly remember the time that I met everyone. Like I don't really remember meeting Mitchell. I don't really remember meeting like um, who else was there? Like Micah or Brian. Well, Brian was in my cohort. I do kind of remember meeting Brian,
Mm-hmm.
but I honestly I don't really remember meeting everybody in our group. Do you remember how we met? Because I just remember kind of showing up and people are there. And I'm like, oh, hello, new friends.
Yeah, I mean, I remember how we met for the most part. Since oh yeah, let me try to explain what JECA is first. So
Mm-hmm.
for the audience, JECA is Judson Early College Academy. It's essentially a high school where you take high school and college classes. So with JECA being this, I guess, paramount of a school in the Judson district, we had cohorts in different classes, essentially. And I remember I met you during enrichment with Mr. Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
Mr.
right.
Lamb would always give us that dead fish handshake before walking into class.
Oh my god. And it was like slightly wet too. It just felt bad.
Yep. And well, we had assigned seats in enrichment, and we were in the back, like the very back of the class.
Yep, I remember that.
And who else was back there? It was you, two other people, and then me. But I was on the very end, and you were like in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time you were just cracking jokes and everything, not paying attention, because what are we doing in enrichment? Nothing.
We just did. So. What was it? What did he say? What was it? How did he say it? Oh, schmoop.
Schmoop. Yeah, schmoop.
We just did schmoop.
Yeah, which was essentially just stare at a screen and wait until the bell.
Yep. Oh, so bad. I think it was honestly. I think it was Paul and Mitchell. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Paul was in that class.
No. I don't think Paul was, because he failed enrichment.
Oh yeah, because he was in Was he in Dr. Sterling's that time? Yeah,
Dr. Sterling.
I don't know. I know you were there. I do remember you being there, but I don't remember. I don't know. As I said, freshman year was just kind of a blur. All I remember is like Miss Taylor's class, and that's about it.
Well, what? Yeah, we were sitting in the back, and I never talked to you. I would always laugh at your jokes, but I would never talk to you.
Yeah.
And I think it was one day. I mean, it was the whole process of me actually getting to know you was, I guess, it took a while for me to actually start talking to you. But I would laugh at your jokes in enrichment. At lunch, I would occasionally pop by because I wouldn't know what to do. I didn't really talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And I think it was engineering club when I finally started talking to you and everybody in the group.
Yeah. I do remember. I always told everybody, because I know people, like I remember talking to people before they got introduced to you, and I would always tell everybody, like, Josiah's such a cool guy, because a lot of people didn't really think you talked much, because you don't really talk much until you get to know you. So I always tell people, like, hey, like, he's not going to talk much when you first meet him, but once you get to know him, he'll warm up and he'll talk to you. But just like, I guess you were a little shy. And I mean, I'm assuming, I'm not too sure. But
most definitely I was.
Yeah. So I was assuming you were a little shy. So I was like, well, I understand, because I used to be like that. I mean, I still am sometimes, especially with new people. But like especially in middle school, it was terrible. But I don't know. I think high school I wanted to change that. I wanted to be, because I wasn't 100%, but I was involved in like most of the groups at our school. Like I talked to at least a couple people in most of the groups that they had. Because I wanted to, I mean, I wasn't like in the drama or anything, but I was interested to see what everybody was doing and kind of know what was going on at school, because it was interesting, and I got to meet a whole bunch of new people like James and you and Sergio and Mitchell. Everybody that we talked to really made school like a whole lot more enjoyable, like having fun, especially Boysville senior year.
Boysville.
Shout out James and Sergio. But having y'all be there with me through senior year, especially at the end, when all that happened, it was just kind of, I don't know, I felt a little anticlimactic getting to the end and then just everything, like watching graduation on the screen. But we'll get past that. I don't know, that's something else for another time. But I don't know, being there with y'all made school a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, it really did. I know, I don't think I really, I mean, only because I know from my experience, I don't think I really changed much transitioning into high school. Because I mean, I would talk to people in middle school, but I would always be extremely insecure about it, you know? Because it's like, I don't want to say something stupid. I don't want them to think that I'm dumb, even though everybody in the class was just like, you're one of the smartest kids. I was just like, that doesn't mean anything if I say something dumb, you know?
Yeah.
So I kind of kept that same mentality going into high school, and that's why I never really talked to a lot of people. But I feel like over the years, while we were still in high school, that started to change, especially once when I joined Boysville.
Yeah, I could definitely see, because being with you from freshman year all the way to senior year, I don't think you changed much, but I think you definitely changed a little bit in like being a little more open, being more like outgoing. Because I do remember freshman year, you were there, but you didn't really talk much. I mean, I enjoyed having you around, but you were a presence, but you weren't really involved in most things. But I know senior year you were involved in like everything, and it was great having you there. And I was really happy to see that you really opened up to that.
Oh, that's nice to hear. I know I was, I feel kind of weird looking back at it, because I was kind of like, I was just a fly that was just buzzing around y'all. I didn't really do anything. I was just there. And then I was like, you know what? I might as well try to be more than just sitting in the back. So I'm glad that I decided to take that step. But I really probably couldn't have done it if you guys weren't so chill, you know?
Yeah, I'm really happy with how like accepting our group was. Like how many people kind of left and joined and came back and went other places, but we all just kind of, like, whoever wanted to come in and whoever wanted to hang out with us, we were just kind of like, yeah. I mean, as long as you click with everybody and as long as everybody like you're chilling.
Yeah, it's like, as long as you didn't do anything out of pocket, you were accepted into the friend group.
Yeah. Speaking, you mentioned middle school earlier. Something that I've been thinking about a lot recently is like how small the world is.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know. It's probably not gonna make any sense to a lot of people, but I work at Discount Tire, and like a lot of the guys that I work with are like way older than I am. I thought they were all my age, but they're like in their 20s. And then this young guy comes, and his name is Manny. Well, Emmanuel, but everybody at the shop called him Manny. And then he was only working for the summer, so when he was leaving, he actually became one of my better friends at work. And when he was leaving, I got this notification, like the day that he was leaving, like his last day. I got this notification from Facebook, like, hey, here's someone you might know. And I got a little like confused. I was like, how does Facebook know that I don't have anybody from work on Facebook. How does Facebook know that I worked with this guy? Like I don't think I have Discount Tire listed as my job or anything anyway. And then I look, and he's got like 6 mutual friends with him. I'm like, what? Who do I have mutual friends with? This guy that I just met a couple months ago from work. And apparently he went to middle school. He was like one of your best friends in middle school, which I was so confused. I was like, how does that even work?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it happens to me a lot. Like, somebody that I knew growing up that lived on my street was one of Gwen's best friends in middle school, but I didn't even know. And like somebody I went to church with when I was in like elementary school and middle school knew Gwen at the same time. And it happens a lot.
Huh.
And it confuses me every time. But it's kind of interesting how that works.
Yeah, that really is weird. But yeah, Emmanuel, he's such a great guy, bro. Like,
yeah, he was honestly, like, I would go to work and then I'd be like, yo, is Manny here? And they'd be like, no, he's off today. I'm like, oh. Because he was, I mean, nobody really ever showed interest in my music taste,
mm-hmm.
but he was always asking me like, whoa, where, like, I don't know if you know, I don't even know if I told you about it, but like my Isopod Hours playlist.
Oh, he told me about that.
Yeah. It's just a playlist that I made in high school, and it's kind of like, it doesn't make any sense. It's got a little bit of everything in it. But I feel like it expresses like what my music taste is.
Mm-hmm.
And I played it at work one day, and Manny was like, it's kind of weird, but I like it. Like, he was like, I'm confused with because it's a little jarring listening, because it'll go from like rap to like old country music sometimes, and then it'll go to like rock or like a little bit of gospel or something like that. And it's a little confusing, but to me, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And to a lot of people, it doesn't make sense. Like, everybody at work was very confused. But whenever I played it, because I played it a couple times and nobody really said anything before, but then when Manny got there, he was like very interested in it. And so I as like a parting gift, I ended up making, because he didn't have Apple Music, he had Spotify. I ended up making Isopod Hours, like a remake on Spotify,
mm-hmm.
so I could give it to him. And then I made him like a bespoke playlist of a bunch of different things that I thought were interesting, that I thought he would think were interesting, and I gave it to him as like a going away gift, and he seemed to really like it.
Yeah, oddly enough, that day, or actually that night, when you had texted me if I knew Manny, I had hit him up after we were done speaking, mm-hmm. and we found a time to hang out, I think on a That's Friday. Cool. We went over to Live Oak Park and just talked and caught up and everything, because I haven't seen him since 8th grade. Mm-hmm. And since we're in college now, it's kind of like, oh shoot, that's what, 5 years of not seeing somebody, but we stayed in touch for so long. So seeing him, it was kind of jarring, because it's like, crap, you haven't changed a day, or you haven't, you look the same as I remember you, just more older, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But his reaction was like over the top, because I forget, I went from having like a shaved head, no facial hair, to having hair and a full-on beard. So it's kind of like, yo, who is this?
I do remember that. Like, I remember from freshman year seeing you, and I think like you definitely had to glow up from freshman year to senior year. Like, the beard, A1, the haircut, A1. It's just, I don't know. It's great. It's definitely a positive change.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I'm kind of jealous of that beard.
Bro,
I haven't really had a chance to grow mine yet. So I don't know how good mine grows out because of work, and then Gwen doesn't like facial hair. But honestly, I'm jealous that you could grow it that easily and it looks that good.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I never really. Oh, hold up. Okay. So when I first decided to grow my beard, I didn't like it at first, right? Because I was like, this thing looks freaking ugly on me, right? But I guess I was downstairs talking with my mom and older sister, and I think my mom had brought up the fact that I was letting my facial hair grow out, and I was like, yeah, I don't like the way it looks, I'm gonna cut it. But then my sister was like, no, because she has this thing with like beards, and she's infatuated with them. She's supposedly, her type is like this lumberjack dude with a heavy beard. So she was like, I see the potential, grow it out and keep it. So I was like, I mean, I guess, right? And I told myself that I was going to cut it before, or shave it all off before starting, like, what, senior year or something?
Because you grew it over the summer. I do remember. Did you grow it? It was like either summer or it was like, because I remember you coming back, because I don't think we did anything over the summer. But I remember seeing you like the first day of school, and I was like, whoa, this man got the beard.
Yeah, it was over the summer.
Because you got the beard and the haircut around the same time.
Yeah, I think in the same year, actually. Because I think it was the spring break of 2018. I decided to grow my hair out, but I didn't have the beard. But once when summer started, that's when I grew the beard.
Yeah.
And then I showed up to school just like, this is what I look like. And people were just like, hey, I really like the beard. If you were to like shape that mess up, you'd be popping. And I was like, oh, word. Y'all like this. So I kept it.
Yeah. I feel like it fits you very well. It's very you. Like it just makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. Good times. So the next question, there's some build up to this, right? Okay, for the audience, Haydn is one of the most wholesome guys that I know, right? And there was this senior year, there was this one event. We were in Chick-fil-A Leader Academy or something, and I guess it was like the kickoff event. And one of the questions that was asked was, what was it, bro? It's like one thing that you want to accomplish in the future. And Haydn was the first person to answer, or he was told to answer. And he walked up there. He looked at everybody and he said, I just want to be a good dad.
Yeah.
My heart, bro.
Yeah. It was definitely, I didn't expect it to hit like that. Like I was thinking, I was like, this question, this is exactly what I want to do. Mm-hmm. Like I want to be there, and I want to be like a good role model and stuff like that. But like, I don't know, because I said that, and then everybody's like, oh, I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that reaction. I was expecting everybody to be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But no, everybody was all sad and like, oh. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. That's definitely something that I want to do. Like having my dad is such a great role model for me, like working all the time just to provide for us and things like that. It's definitely something that I see myself doing and see myself wanting to do whenever I get older. Definitely not now. There's definitely a later in life thing, but
oh yeah, I think that was the follow-up question. It was like, when do you want to achieve that goal? And,
yeah,
and like after you said that, yeah, a whole lot of people were like, you want to do that now?
Yeah, I do remember that. Everybody was like, when? I was like, no. We'll see. Yeah, I'm definitely not ready for that yet. I feel like as of right now, I'm a little too immature for that, but in the next few years, maybe.
Yeah.
Whenever I get established a little more, I think it'll be definitely something I want to do.
Yeah, most definitely. Have you thought of who's gonna be the godparents, if you choose to have some?
I don't know. I think. See, I feel like it's hard to choose because I feel like I have so many great people in my life. Same thing with like best man at my wedding. Is that, like, I feel like I think I'm gonna have to have like 10 best men at my wedding. Because I feel like I wouldn't be able to choose one person that, like, there's definitely people that stick out, and there's definitely people that are so great in my life, but I don't think I feel like I would feel bad choosing one.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I would insult somebody. Like, I don't mean it that way, but it's just like, there's so many people, like you, James, Sergio, Mitchell, all the guys, like Paul, even Paul. I haven't talked to Paul and Richard in forever, but I still, like, them being there for me in high school and stuff, like, I still love them. I needed, if Paul, if you're listening, Richard, if you're listening, I need to talk to y'all. I keep meaning to, but, yeah. But they were so great, just having everybody as, like, a support system in high school, and having them be by my side through everything. Even when we would get mad at each other, I would talk too much and Richard would get mad
Mm-hmm.
at me. But I was like, because I think Richard, because nobody would ever tell me I was talking too much, but I think Richard told me one time, and I was like, dang, I'm really talking too much. I need to stop. But I didn't really stop. I stopped for a day, but then the next day I was still. But then
back at it again.
Yeah, I feel like Richard was definitely I don't know, somebody that could, like, keep me grounded, because not a lot of people could really get me to stop doing what I'm doing, but Richard was always, like, a very grounded person, and I would kind of listen to what he had to say. Sometimes he didn't make sense, sometimes he had some issues, but most of the time he was very level-headed.
Most of the time.
We ain't gonna talk about some of those things, but
because, boy, were there some instances where I thought was not the main thing.
Definitely. Oh, he was thinking all right.
Yep. So, yes, I guess the main goal of you being a great dad, do you still have that? Or did it change to something else?
Yeah, I think definitely, like, I feel like in a couple years when I am, and I, like, can see myself going through things like that, I feel like I'm just gonna sit back and think, dang, I did it. Like, if my kids are like 5 or something, well, I mean, that's not like the end of the road, but, like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, they made it this far, they might as well go the rest of the way. But I think I'll sit back and just think to myself, wow, I actually did it. Because honestly, I don't know. I'm very immature. Well, not sometimes. It kind of does, but I don't necessarily see well, now I think I can, but I think back then I couldn't really see myself as somebody that would be suitable for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as I've gotten older, like those past couple years since high school, I've definitely progressed as a person, kind of being more responsible, actually I'm going to work, I'm working, I'm doing school at the same time, managing my time. I'm not doing it too great, but I'm trying, so definitely some character development.
Yeah. I know, being that we did go to high school together, it was nice watching you mature in a way. Not, it sounds weird because I feel like I sound old whenever I say that, but it's only coming from, like, a place of love. Because I remember there was, like, a sudden change in you over time, you know? You would always wear these, like, these skater boy hats.
No.
You would always wear, like, cargo pants or whatever, and then slowly over time you started changing into something more your style. You know, it seemed like you were
shorts and the t-shirts and the van. Or no, I never wore Vans. I used to always wear, like, Jordan. Because the only shoes, I have stupid feet. The only shoes that I ever found that were comfortable to me were Jordan 1s. Mm-hmm. And I wore, like, every year I would get a couple pairs of Jordan 1s and just wear those. Because I'm hard on shoes. Also, another thing, Jordan 1s were the only ones that, like, actually lasted through the year. Like, by the end of the year, they were totally busted, but they would last me the majority of the year. I've tried a million different shoe brands, shoe types. It's just Jordan 1s lasted. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would wear a pair of Jordans, some stupid tall socks that didn't fit well, cargo shorts, and then a shirt that didn't even match, and then a stupid hat with the the brim. I still have that hat actually. It's a the red and white one with the Canada flag on it.
Yeah, with the
I used to wear that all the
bill
time.
of the hat.
It's flipped up so you can see the flag. Yeah, that was me, the weird skater kid. I always kind of make fun of Gwen. I'm like, dang, you fell in love with a dude with a Justin Bieber haircut? Couldn't be me.
Okay, y'all did start talking, what, sophomore year?
Yeah. I think around then was the time that I kind of started kind of maturing, I guess. Because around then was the time that I started, because I used to wear boots when I was younger, but then I kind of got out of it because, I don't know, I think I wore them a few times, but I got kind of made fun of for it, so I was just kind of like, oh, well, I can't wear these, so I'll wear some stupid cargo shorts. But nobody made fun of my cargo shorts, so... But I started wearing boots again, and pants, and button-down shirts, and t-shirts and stuff, and I kind of have developed my style around that now, and that's usually, like, if you see me out, I'll either be wearing, like, if I'm just going to the store or something, I'll probably wear, like, basketball shorts or something, but if I'm going out with people or just doing something in general, I'll have boots and pants on, because that's what I feel most comfortable in now. Honestly, when I was younger, like elementary and middle school, you could not find me dead in a pair of pants. I would die of heat. I don't even know how I wear pants now, because I would die of heat stroke if I wore a pair of pants. Like, I think I would only wear pants during, like, the coldest days of winter when it was, like, 30 degrees, but other than that, I was wearing shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But around that time, I started kind of developing, because I still had the Justin Bieber haircut up until a little while after. Because I had the Justin Bieber haircut, and then I grew my hair out, like, super long. And then I ended up cutting. That was, like, one of the scariest things I went through, because I was like, oh my God, I'm about to cut. Because my hair was, like, you remember it was super long.
Yeah, it was. You would always have to, like, adjust your hat just to put the hat.
Adjust your hair to put pull my hair back and to put my hat on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I don't remember. It was probably about 9 inches long.
Jesus
something
Christ.
around there. It was really long. And then because I have pretty thin hair, but I have a lot of hair. So it was like, especially in the summertime, it was getting so hot having that much hair, and I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna cut it. And I went from super long hair all the way around to having like no hair on the sides and then just having hair on the top. And that was definitely a big change. But it's definitely something that I enjoyed having. And then now I have the mullet, which is basically the same thing as what I had before, just with hair in the back. And I really like it. Like, it's not like one of those weird mullets, but it's just kind of it's a white boy mullet.
I mean, it suits you. I mean, not in the sense that it's a white boy mullet, but it suits your style. It complements it.
I definitely think it fits me as a person.
Oh man! So I know that I don't know where I was going with that. Let me restart. Crap. Okay. I mean, since I did that, I might as well just hop around in the question somewhere. I know I saw it. Is there any weird things that you notice that you do?
Yeah, I do a lot of weird things. So I collect like cigar boxes. I don't necessarily put anything in them, but I just like going, because my dad sometimes smokes cigars, and my family has smoked forever. So I just kind of go to the humidors and things like that and see a box that I think looks cool. Like, I have like a stack of like 10 in my room right now. And I just think they're like, finding all those little ornate boxes, like they're all handcrafted wooden boxes from South America. And it's just interesting to see all that workmanship just put into something that just gets thrown away. And I find them cool. Every time I get one, I take it home and I get all like the warning labels off and everything, because with the they got all the labels that say like, oh, smoking's bad, it's gonna kill you, don't smoke. But then it kind of makes it takes away from the box.
Yeah.
Because they'll have a beautiful ornate like painting on the box, and then it'll just have like smack dab in the middle, don't smoke. I was like, well, so I always make sure to take all the stickers off and make sure to take them back to how they originally should have been. And I just have like I have a couple, I just call them my box, and that's like special little pictures and trinkets from like things I've done or things that mean a lot to me. Like I have a lot of like my check IDs and stuff from school. Like I have an English pass, one of those pink ones. I have one of those in there, and then like flowers from homecoming and prom. I have all kinds of stuff. But I collect those. I also, since I started working at Discount Tire, for some reason, I am like infatuated with wheels and tires. Like I'll see like tires on the street. I'm like, oh, those are pretty good. Or, like I'll think in my head, oh, those suck to do. Those suck to work on. You know, like I'll see a brand new car with tires on it, and I'm like, oh, well, you're gonna need to change those. Or like I'll tell family members like, hey, like I'll notice things that I wasn't noticing before, like their tires look old or cracked and things like that. And then I'll be able to like, even though I'm not like a salesman right now, I just work in the teching. I work in the back putting things on. But I'm able to kind of explain to people how tires work and better brands for them, or like a better option in their price range and things like that. Just because of like what I have experienced and what I'm seeing coming in. So I thought that was it's not necessarily weird. It's just interesting. It's like I'll see a set of tires. I see a set of tires. I'm like, oh, those are so heavy. Those suck to to put on. And it's just, I don't know. I thought it was interesting just seeing how like my mindset different. Because before I started working there, I had zero clue about tires. Like just seeing tires, like, okay, well, what's the difference? It's just a piece of rubber on your wheel. I don't know. But then now seeing all like the intricate things that go on with tires, like how many parts a tire has. I thought it was just rubber and like some metal in there, but it's like there's steel belts and all kinds of inner liner. It's really, I don't know. We're not doing a tire podcast, but I'm getting too tires. But it's just an interesting thing to learn about, and I do that a lot with a lot of things. Like I'll get interested in things like Magic the Gathering. I got back into that a while back, and I went crazy, and I have a bunch of decks built. And
word.
Then I don't play it that often anymore, but I was building decks and messing with them, playing for a while, and then like now recently this past couple weeks, ever since I went to the beach, I've been like super into fishing. And I do a lot of like fishing. I haven't caught much. I'm not very good at it, but I do a lot of fishing on my spare time. And I find it like a really peaceful thing to do, just kind of going out to a body of water. Even if you're not catching anything, you just get to kind of
enjoy the nature.
Enjoy the nature, enjoy the experiences, be with people that you like in a nice space. I don't know, it's definitely an interesting, like even if you're not really into fish, going out to like lakes and just kind of looking around, experiencing that is a very interesting thing.
Yeah, it's something about the ambiance of a lake or just a body of water out in nature, you know?
Like it just feels different near water, like hearing the sounds of like the forest or like the sounds of things echoing off the water. It hits different.
Yeah, it's funny that you mention fishing, because being that this is a storytelling podcast, I have a story about fishing that I had already recorded. So as of recording this, it is July 28th. Yeah, July 28th. But my fishing episode probably won't come out until sometime in August, because that's how like I scheduled it and everything. But my first time fishing was an experience. It didn't go so well. I went fishing on a boat, and I think that is the last time I will ever go fishing on a boat.
Yeah,
but
it's bad.
Yeah, it was just
seasick?
most definitely, bro. it was funny. Like, I don't want to like spoil it just in case you want to hear it, but let me just say I went through it twice.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I personally don't get seasick that often, but my mom gets seasick bad. And she'll feel like super sick. Like this one time, I always hear stories about it because we used to go to the beach all the time. My parents used to go to the beach when they were younger. And when she was pregnant with me, they went on this boat called the Island Queen down in Port A, and it's an old retired ferry boat that they take out and they go like charter fishing. So they just take you out, not like super deep, just mostly in the bay, and they just have you toss lines in. They have everything provided, and you just go fishing, and it's pretty cool. I've been on it a million times, but my mom always tells this story about her going on it, and she was, I don't remember how far along she was, but she was like pregnant, you know. And she told the captain, like, you need to move in a little bit right now, or I am jumping off this boat and swimming back. Because the waves, it was pretty choppy that day, and the waves were so bad. Like she was going through it, like you said. And
were the waves rocking the boat back and forth?
Yes.
Oh my god, bro! I think we might have the same story. Shoot.
No, it was bad. Yeah, I have a lot of fishing stories. I think my first time fishing with my dad. It might not have been the first time, but it was one of the very early times. I don't even know if I think I have a picture of it. But we went fishing at this little creek, and I had this little, I think it was a Tigger pole from Winnie the Pooh, and I had a little hook on it with a piece of hot dog, and I was fishing for these little tiny bluegill fish, and I remember getting stuck on a like a little piece of like a little stick because it was a tiny pole, so it didn't have much like leverage, so I got stuck on everything.
Yeah.
So I got stuck on this little stick, and I was yanking on it, and my dad was like, "Oh, just hold on, I'll come help you." And I yanked it, and it came loose, and then the hook stuck right under my chin.
Oh.
So like you like that bone in your chin, like right behind that where it's like soft. That's where it stuck in.
Right.
And it went
there.
like all the way in there. Yeah, it was bad.
Dang, man.
Yeah, but like even through that, like my dad helped me. He had to pull it out. But even through that, I was like, he was telling me, "Oh, we can go home if you want." I was like, "No, we gotta keep fishing. We gotta catch something." But I don't know. I always thought fishing. I haven't done it in a while, up until recently. But fishing has always been something that I've enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought that I would enjoy fishing, especially after the first time of me dying on the boat. Yeah. But fishing on land is pretty cool. I like. I don't know how to describe it. It's peaceful, you know?
Yeah.
Like, even I've never caught anything, and I don't think I will ever catch anything, but I just think just relaxing by some water, that's very therapeutic, if you will.
Yeah, it is, definitely. We gotta go sometime. Some freshwater bank fishing, just stand out by the lake and awesome.
Yeah, most definitely. I know I went fishing a few times with Richard sometime during high school, but it was only at the Live Oak Park, and we were just catching rocks, so that was pretty much it.
I don't think I've ever caught anything out there. Like, people say they catch stuff, but I have never had any luck there. I don't know. But there's some good spots we gotta go to.
Yeah. Dog, that'd be extremely interesting. I'd really enjoy that.
Yeah. Alright. Well, we'll figure out a time. I mean, I don't know what time when you're leaving for school, but maybe whenever you come back for spring break or something, we'll figure out a date.
Yeah, probably then. So, yeah. Since this, like I said before, it's a storytelling podcast, do you have a story that you want to share? And that you're okay with other people knowing, first and foremost.
Yeah, that's definitely important. I don't know. Like, I have stories. It's hard to. Do you have like a prompt or something? It's hard to come up with a very specific one on the spot.
Oh yeah, I know the most recent arc or a series of episodes, the theme behind them, we're learning from bad experiences or past experiences. So anything that you consider a bad experience, or just any past experience for that matter, and what you learned from it, that would be, I guess, the story to tell.
Yeah. So bad experiences. I've had, I don't know. I always try to learn from my experiences, but I usually end up kind of repeating them. A certain time, I don't know. There's been some times where I've made some mistakes, like just stupid things that I did. Like when I was younger, I used to, not really on purpose, it was just kind of like a habit I got into. I used to lie a lot. Not like anything big, just small little white lies here and there, lying to people. But I would never, I didn't lie to my mom because it was bad. But this one time, I don't even remember what it was about, but I lied to my mom, and I really got it handed to me because she figured it out, and I was like, oh yeah, this is not good.
Yikes.
Yeah. I don't even remember. I think what was it? I think I told her I did something when I didn't, but it was like some stupid, like I told her I took out the trash, but I obviously didn't take out the trash. And then she because then she figured out a few other things that I had lied about, and then it was just like a whole issue.
Oh, it was like an avalanche, more or less.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then now to this day, like I really learned from that, and I try not to lie. Like I don't lie. I feel like lying is definitely very much a gray area, because there's lying, and then there's telling something that is adjacent to the truth to keep from hurting people's feelings.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's important. To understand the because you don't want to just. My favorite story about that. I don't know if you'll ever hear this, but Aziel, I remember this one time in physics class. He looked at me, and he was having a rough day. Let's just say that. People, for those of you that know, you'll know what I'm talking about. And he looked at me, and he asked, "Do I look okay?" And in my head, I was like, "No, there is no metric to where this man looks like he's okay." But I had to, because I feel like if I said no, he would have freaked out even more. So I had to just tell him, "Yeah, you look good. You're chilling." And I think that calmed him down because he seemed a little better after that. But it was, I don't know, it was rough.
Shoot, I could imagine.
Yeah, he's
not dead, so.
Yeah, he was staring me directly in the eyes, and he was looking at me, and I was like, if I tell this man no, it is over for him. He is going to freak out in the middle of this physics class trying to learn about like projectile motion or something.
Bro, whole room spinning.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, okay, we're just going to seat you in the back of the class, drink some water, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, just take a lap. It's cool.
Take a lap. Squawk one. It was definitely interesting. I don't know. I was trying to think about stories to tell, but I couldn't really think of any on the spot.
No, it's cool. I've had like build up for mine, so it's cool. I don't think I have a new one that I haven't talked about yet, or that I don't plan on talking about in the future. But shoot, I might as well try to think of one. Oh no, never mind. The story that came into my head is one of the most embarrassing ones, and I don't think I'm prepared to tell it yet. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's the most disgusting thing that I've ever done, and I'm ashamed of doing it, but I would do it again if I got the chance to do it.
I would do it again.
I'll probably talk about it sometime on this podcast because it's a really funny story. I just don't think I'm mentally prepared to tell it in the way that I feel like it should be told.
Yeah, definitely. Well, speaking of disgusting things, I've done quite a few of those. Well, maybe not the same way disgusting, but things that people thought were gross. I don't know if you remember. I don't even know if you were there, but that time Seth and I ate that soggy Dorito on the ground.
I heard about that.
Yeah. It was like lunchtime, and it had just rained, and it's been raining for like 3 days. And me and Seth were standing there with a whole group of people, and I was like, dude, there's a Dorito on the floor. And I pick it up, and it is limp. Like, I pick it up, and it, I don't even know how to describe it to where it makes sense in in people's heads. But, you know, like when you pick up a chip, it's solid. It's like rigid. It sticks straight out. But I picked it up, and it flopped under my hand. And I was like, oh, this is not good. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to eat it. And I said it out loud. And then Seth was like, ooh, give me a bite. So we split the soggy Dorito at school. And everyone was like, yo, that's disgusting. But then I was like, is it though? It's still food. I mean, it was kind of gross. Like having it was out there for a couple days in the rain, so it was probably not okay. I think I felt a little sick after that. Oh, or the highlighter water. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. You were on that concoction.
That was bad. Mitchell put a highlighter and like Post-it notes in my water.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I'd be fine. And I drank it, and my head hurt so bad.
Yeah, you said bottoms up and just went to town on that.
Yeah, no, it was terrible. I definitely should have done that. Shouldn't have done that. I think I have like permanent brain damage from that. But yeah, that was bad. It was like highlighter and Post-it note juice, and it was just, it didn't taste like anything, but it like hurt my head.
Mm-hmm.
And then another disgusting thing, me and my little brother, around 4th of July, not every year, but most years, we go out to this family friend's ranch, and they have a bunch of cows. So we get fireworks and blow cow turds up. And this one time, me and Heston, we were standing a little too close, and it was a fresh one, and it got all over us. Like, it was everywhere.
Oh,
and it was not good. We put a little, I think they're called like M80s or something. The little ones that kind of look like a little TNT, but all they do is you light them and they explode. They make a loud pop. Mm-hmm. We put a couple of them in there, and they exploded, and just like from miles around, just cow juice everywhere. Yeah, it was bad.
Shoot. Cow juice flying everywhere.
Yeah, I don't think I've done that since, because I think I've been scarred from that one. Because usually they're kind of dry, so they just kind of blow up and just kind of fall apart. But this one was wet, so it had some inertia behind it. It just flew everywhere. Yeah, it was bad.
That I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I could imagine. I feel like that's an idea that I would think about, but I wouldn't actually do. Like, it would cross my mind, and I'd be like, dang, that is really gross.
Mm-hmm.
And like sit there and think about it for like maybe 5 more minutes and then just walk away, or like do it at the very end, but like take off running, you know?
No, see, no, the way that I see it, or the way that I kind of live my life, like if you think about it once and you don't do it, then it's really not worth doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I think about doing something and I don't commit to it and I don't do it, I'm never gonna do it. Because I get kind of lazy, and if I don't do it right then, I'm not going to do it ever. So if I think about it, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I have to do this now. And I also like, I don't know, another way, I've told you a few times, but I just don't really, like, it's not that I don't care, but I just don't have, I'm trying to figure out a way to describe it. I just don't really, I guess the best way to say it is I just don't care. Like, I'll do whatever. I mean, I'll just kind of, it's more like don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness with me.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'll do it, and then after it happens, I'll be like, oops. But I don't know. That's just how I am, and I'm very just kind of laid back. I don't really care what's going on. It's just, I'm just riding with whatever's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I've always known you to be somebody to just not really go with the flow, but if you want to do something, you do it, and you just deal with whatever consequences follow.
Yeah. Act now, ask questions later. That's
the motto. Yeah, I most definitely. I think I picked up on that, and I started. I'm not really. I didn't start applying it, but I started, thinking about how I could apply it, and I most definitely think that's one of the reasons why I've always, I guess, not stayed in touch, but hung around you as much as I did, because that was something that I wish I could have applied in my life a lot more. And this is how this podcast started.
That's cool.
So yeah.
A lot of people have told me, like, how do you do that? And it's just kind of, I don't know. Like, my little brother especially, it's kind of weird. We're very polar opposites. He cares about everything, and he's like such a germaphobe, and he's so scared of all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always like, well, how do you do that? Like, how do you just not care? I'm like, I don't know. It's just how it is. I guess, like, I got all the chill and he got all the caring, so I guess he's kind of stuck with that. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's just kind of, I haven't always been like this.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be very, like, not strict, but I used to, like, freak out about some things. But I just kind of decided, like, what's the point? Life's too short to be scared of everything and to be worrying about everything all the time. Just go with it. As long as you make it through, you're good. As long as you get done what you need to get done, and as long as you're happy, I think that's all that really matters.
Yeah, I feel like I was pretty much the same way. I was more uptight about a lot of things. I mean, granted, like, I'll talk about it much later in the podcast, but it most definitely affected how I viewed the whole world, because I would always try to think things through to the point where I just wouldn't do anything, because I'd be so busy planning, or not planning, but so busy thinking about the consequences that I would never really do anything.
Yeah. Because I've always, like, stuff like that, it's, it just seems like kind of a, not really a waste, it's just like wasted potential, you know?
Yeah.
I've always, like, thought to just seize the day. Like, you see something, you want it, you go get it. And then you just, like, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm very, like, task oriented. If I see something I want, I'm gonna go get it. I'm also very, like, compulsive. Like, I'll see something I want, I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna go do whatever I have to do to get what I want. Well, not whatever, but, like, within means, whatever I have to do to get what I want.
Yeah, nothing illegal, like.
Yeah, I'm not gonna kill nobody, but I'll do within my limits as much as I can to get whatever I want, just because that's the kind of person I am.
Yeah, very respectable doing that. So, trying to think of the next question, even though I have the whole list right here. I don't know which one to ask first, so I'm gonna just pick one right now. Okay. Who are the three most, or Jesus Christ, who are the three people who have been the most influential to you in your life?
Well, I think I'm gonna, because my mom and dad, I think I'm just gonna count them as one person. Just because they, like, mean so much. Like, I mean, obviously they're the ones that have influenced me and keep me on track, kept me where I need to be headspace wise. They always kind of try to, just because of the way I am, I get kind of sidetracked and I get distracted, and then they always kind of bring me back to earth, bring me back to where I need to be. And I can always count on them to do that, be honest with me, and be there for me when I need them. So they're definitely a big role model in my life. And number two, I think, would have to be my great grandma. She's like 85, I think 85 or 80. Oh, her birthday was last week, 86 now.
Oh, word. Happy belated birthday if she's listening.
Maybe. I might send it to her. But yeah, she. So she was in Germany during the time of like World War II and everything. She was a kid then. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily a kid, but she was younger. And she always talks about like living through that, and it's just so crazy to me that she made it through all of that and came here on like a cargo ship with her son, which is my grandpa, just to get a better life for him. And that's always something that that's one of the things, like when I say I want to be a good dad, I mean, and she wasn't a dad, but like I want to make a great life for the people that I love. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of the reason why. So number 3, it's hard to say. I know you said 3 people, but I think so. My mom and dad are like a group, and then I think the third group is like my friends and my family, because I can always count on people that I keep. I mean, I'm very choosy on who I decide to share myself with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it makes just the people that I keep around and the people that I decide to call my friends and family. Well, realistically, my friends are my family. Like all the people that I know from high school and everybody that I still talk to, and even people that I don't talk to, they're part of my family. And having them, seeing everything that y'all are doing, seeing everything, like all the great things that y'all are going to do, going out, going places that I've never been, seeing y'all post things of trips and all kinds of like awards that you're winning and mm-hmm. places that you're going, jobs that you're getting. It's something that I really loved seeing, and I've really loved like watching everybody move up in the world and seeing us grow up, and it's really inspiring to me to keep going and be a part of that. So that's my 3, not really people necessarily, I kind of took the thing just a little bit, but my 3 groups of things that have inspired me and kept me where I need to be.
Yeah, your parents, your great grandma, and your friends / family, because everybody is family. Yeah, that's dope, honestly. Yeah, I really liked how you worded the whole friends portion, because looking back, I've always had trouble having friends, and I never really thought that I would have as many as I do now, especially considering the fact that the pandemic really strained a couple people's relationships. So it's just, I don't know, it's just nice to know that you can have somebody to rely on, or somebody just to talk to about anything, or to support you in your dreams, for that matter. Mm-hmm. So, that's why I'm thankful that you're happy to be on the first ever interview on the Hawks Lounge podcast, because I honestly didn't think I'd make it this far. And I mean, granted, I only started a couple weeks ago on this idea. So to know that, I have outside support other than just my family is pretty good, to say the least.
I'm excited to see what you do with it, to see all the episodes to come and all the ones that you've been kind of hinting at through this whole thing.
Yeah, bro, I never thought, like, I got a story to share about how creative I'm not, or how creative I am, or lack of creativity, however you want to phrase it, right? So how how schools have the TAG, the gifted and talented, the GT program and all that? Mm-hmm. I got tested 3 times, and I failed the first 2 because of the creativity portion, right? Yeah. They I remember the first time very vividly, and it's hilarious looking back at it, because the creativity portion, they gave you like a piece of paper with some shapes on it, and they told you to draw something. And I was just like, draw something? What the heck do I look like? I'm not Picasso. So I'm staring at this paper, and it's like divided into boxes. And in each box, there's some shape. And I think the first one had a circle. So I made a sun, right? I thought that was creative enough. I go to the next box. There's a triangle. I don't know what to do, so I just draw a line over it to make it like one of those seesaws or one of the balancing beams or whatever. And the next one really gave me a kicker, right? Because it was a semicircle. So I sat there and I like stared at the lady who was watching me draw all these, and I thought to myself, like, you're not going to believe this one. And I drew a horizon, as any child would, because that's creative, or I thought it was.
See, when you said that, I was thinking about just making the rest of the circle.
Like, I mean, that also was a thought, but I only thought of it after I drew the horizon. I was like, crap, that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I think the last box had a squiggly line, and I drew a worm. And I handed the lady the paper, and she sat there and looked at me with a confused look on her face. And she was like, "Are you done?" And I sat there like, "Yeah, you see that I filled out this paper. Take it and accept me."
Yeah.
And I never heard back from that ever again.
I feel like the tag tests were always so weird. I only took it one time, and I always thought it was weird because I feel like it's different depending on what age you get into tag. Because I took mine in like first grade or something. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like early. And the only question I remember from the whole thing was looking at a picture of a dog, and they said, "What is this called?" And I remember my answer was like canine, because I was just watching like Cops on TV or something before I went, because it was just like whatever was on in the living room. And then they were talking about the canine unit, and I was like, "That's a canine." And then she was like, "Oh, wow." And I was like, "What?"
It's like, what? You didn't know?
Yeah, like, you didn't know that, lady? But I was just kind of like, I've always thought it was weird, because all I remember from that test was looking at a picture of a dog and saying canine, and that's how they decided that I'm gifted and talented, I guess.
Yeah, that's crazy. The American education system is kind of whack.
It's a little goofy. And then like only tag kids could take biology in middle school, which didn't really. I mean, it made sense, I guess, but it didn't make sense at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely an interesting thing, because it used to be called tag, and then it was like GT, gifted and talented. Tag, and then whichever school you went to, or whichever not really school, but like school district you went to, it was called something else. Because I remember people that would come in and they'd calling it like GAT or something, and I was like, "What is GAT?" Yeah. It's tag. What are you talking about? And like, "No, we call it the GAT." And I was like, "Well, you're wrong, first of all." But I don't know. It was definitely interesting seeing like all the different versions and hearing people talk about their tests that they took later on, and me thinking all I had to do was talk about a dog. That's the only question that I can remember, and I always thought it was so weird that's. I mean, maybe that probably wasn't what decided that I got into tag, but just thinking that me calling a dog a canine could mean that I'm talented and gifted is kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I've heard some schools it was GAT, GT, tag, or GATE. And I think GATE was like gifted and talented education or something. But yeah, I think that was just weird. And everybody thought you were like the smartest in the class if you were in there. Only because of the way that the school phrased it.
It was interesting. The way that my school did it, because I remember, not really in middle school, but in elementary school, when they used to take you out of class. they would take the tag kids, and everybody was in like dyslexia or something, and they would take us at the same time. And it was always so like confusing because people would be like, "Why are you leaving?" And I'm like, "I'm going tag." They're like, "Oh, you're not going to dyslexia?" I'm like, "No." Honestly, when I was younger, I didn't even understand what dyslexia was. I was like, "So why do they get to go to a different class?" And I was just confused. And I was like, "Well, what's?" Because I'm going to this class to do this, but what are they doing? Like, why? I want to go do what they're doing. I don't know. I always thought it was interesting, like the whole separate classroom thing. Like, even if it's not for like special learning, like going to, because in tag, all I ever remember doing, it was like basically free time.
Pretty
You would
much,
go,
yeah.
you do like a little weird little like brain puzzle, and then you're sitting there playing games for an hour, and then you go back to class before the end of the day. And I was like, so I took a test, and now I just get to play around at school instead of doing my normal learning. I didn't understand what the point of that was. Like, it was definitely interesting to be in that class. I mean, we did projects and stuff. I had this video. I don't even know where it is now. I think I feel like I've shown it to somebody, but I think it was like middle school. But there's this video of this tag project we did where we had to make like toys, and I made this like Nerf gun or something. It was definitely a copyright infringement issue. But I ended up making like a cover for like the Black Eyed Peas song where it goes like boom boom boom, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
that song go hard.
Yeah, that song goes hard. But I made a cover for that song, and it was so bad, and I was like, why did anybody let me do this? I honestly think I lost the video, but it was just so bad just listening to that, and I went to a whole separate class for like 4 weeks to do this, and it took me that long, and it was just like, so this is what talented and gifted is?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I always thought the whole thing was kind of weird. It never really made too much sense to me. But I don't know. It was definitely something that was quite interesting when I was going to elementary school and stuff. Middle school, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was just kind of like you got to take a extra science class or whatever. But elementary school was definitely different.
Yeah. I guess we'll transition into the last question, I guess. I need to work on my segues, but, we'll get greater later.
Yeah.
So, I know previously you had mentioned that you listen to music. So what are like your favorite genres to listen to and why?
So with me, music kind of depends on my mood. Like I'll listen to everything. Well, basically, I'm not like the biggest fan of like classical music for some reason. It just never really hits that part of my brain. But like I'll listen to dubstep, or I'll listen to like rap. I'll listen to you. I mean, you remember like seeing me listen to like a million different things all the time. Like I listen to country music. I listen to rap. I listen to like this weird like folk music, stuff like that, and it's definitely interesting. But something that I've always really liked, and I found out recently that not many people knew about them. But do you know like the NPR Tiny Desk concerts?
I freaking love those, bro.
Yeah, those are so great, and that's something that I've always listened to. Like I put them on, like I made a little playlist of all of them that I really like, and I just put them on and listen to them. I have them on shuffle, and it's just it's a small I really like those because it feels like you're there in the audience. Like it's a very personal concert, and like listen, and it's not as produced as it would be if you're listening to like the album that came out. You're listening to like a raw form of the song, and I've always thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite NPR Tiny Desk?
Okay, my favorite has always been the Mac Miller NPR Tiny Desk.
Miller's, yep.
I really like that one, and then also the one that who was it? Oh, what's his name? You know that song Cinderella by Mac Miller.
I think I might have heard of it, but I can't
It's
remember it
like
off the
I've
top of
been
my
waiting
head.
on for this moment.
Uh,
What was it called? Okay, well the guy that was in that song, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But the guy who was in that song, he made one, and he made, it was after Mac Miller passed away. He made a kind of like a tribute for Mac Miller, and I really like that one as well. Um, I listened to Mac Miller before he died, but after he died, his music kind of have had a different connotation to it to me,
mm-hmm.
and I've always really liked his music. Um, so if you've never listened to Mac Miller, I definitely suggest check it out. Um, some of his older stuff is more like white boy rap, but a lot of his newer stuff is or like the stuff that came out more recently is more. Uh, to me, it's like the sad boy genre,
Yeah.
but it's definitely it's good music to listen to. Um, whenever I don't know how to explain it. Whenever you're not necessarily sad, you're just kind of chilling.
Yeah,
Like you're
more
not sad,
like
you're not happy.
relaxing but thinking
Yeah,
at the same
relaxing.
time.
Yeah, thinking. That's definitely it's definitely thinking music.
Yeah. I know I think I found one of my favorite artists through NPR Tiny Desk. I don't know if you heard of him. I think I posted one of his videos on Instagram at one point. But Toby Nwigwe, I don't know if you heard that one.
No, I don't think I'm definitely checking it out after this though. But
Yeah, if anybody in the audience wants to listen to any of those, I'll put the Mac Miller and the Toby Nwigwe's NPR Tiny Desk in the about page. But I really like he's a rapper, right? I really like his style. He's not, I don't know how to really describe it. It's similar to Biggie in a sense, but he uses a lot of wordplay, and I am a sucker for wordplay. And he talks about growing up in the hood, Alieve, Texas, and everything. And he actually went to UNT. I wanted to go to UNT, but they didn't give me enough money, so I was like, you know what? I don't want to go that bad. But yeah, I highly encourage anybody to check him out. He's a dope rapper. He's doing some great things. He met with Dave Chappelle. Erykah Badu said that he was dope. He made a song about it. It's all a good time. But
speaking of, I do really like Dave Chappelle, like all his comedy skits and stuff,
yeah, I
and
just don't
all
know how
his
he
like
does
the
it.
Chappelle show. Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy, like how he comes up with all the material for his sketches and all the material for his comedy specials and things like that. Like I've always been a fan of like stand-up comedians, like especially Donald Glover, or well, like Childish Gambino before he did music. Well, even when he was doing music, his stand-up stuff was always really interesting to me.
Yeah.
And then like you ever listen to Joey Diaz?
Joey Diaz. He sounds familiar, but I don't think I have.
Yeah, Joey Coco Diaz. He's a comedian. He's from New York. No, he's from New Jersey, but he lived in New York and like Colorado for a while, but he's a really interesting comedian, and he's lived an interesting life. Like he was a drug addict. He went to prison for a long time, and he had definitely a hard life. But it's like I would definitely suggest checking out his stuff because it's interesting to hear about all the crazy things. Like he's kidnapped people. He steals all the time. Well, not anymore, but he used to steal from people all the time. And it's interesting to hear like all the crazy things that he's done, and like the fact that he's learned from it and he's become a better person because of it. Just like hearing how far he's come from that is definitely very interesting.
Yeah.
And then you ever heard Theo Von?
Theo Von?
Yeah,
I don't think I have.
He's definitely a little bit more. He's from Louisiana, and his comedy is definitely interesting. I just, to me, I find comedy interesting that is it's very real feeling. And I also got into podcasts. Speaking of podcasts, but
Hey, yo, quick plug.
Back, no. Quick plug, podcast plug on the podcast. But listening to people talk about their everyday life, or listening to people tell stories about things they did in their childhood and things like that, like Joey Diaz or Theo Vaughn, but they put a comedic spin on it and make it like they'll take something serious, like his mom dying whenever he was younger, or like, and then he would put a spin on it, like talking about how she would always like she always had the cops in her pocket, and then whenever they would come to raid, the cops would call and be like, "Hey, clean your house," and then she would just throw everything downstairs to the next door neighbor. And it's interesting to hear about stuff like that, and then think about like how crazy things like that are, how they actually happen all the time.
Yeah, I definitely think comedy, it's being that it is very real, it takes a whole lot of inspiration from, you know, life in general, because it's easy, especially nowadays, to get, you know, discouraged or depressed about everything that happens in life, but to listen to somebody have a similar bad experience, but to add humor to it, it's more of like an authentic form of connecting with people, more or less. I mean, with the exception of some comedians. I remember there's this YouTube channel that I subscribe to, Dry Bar Comedy. They're really cool. I'll also add them in the episode about, but I really enjoy listening to a lot of their comedy specials. They're more like 30-minute type specials, but there was this one guy, he went up and, you know, I was on a binge and he was like one of the last people I watched, and he didn't really have any jokes. He was just roasting the audience, and I thought that was kind of weird. I mean, what he was saying was funny, but it also didn't feel right to laugh, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my 2 cents on comedy.
Yeah. It's like a kind of a role reversal, because in a lot of comedians, they get heckled by the crowd, or if the crowd doesn't think it's funny, they'll start making fun of the comedian. And I guess I don't really know, I've never seen it, but I think he probably kind of flipped the script on them and kind of started heckling them, I guess.
Yeah. Most definitely weird, but I guess it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's about it.
It was really nice talking to you. We've talked recently, but we haven't talked like this in quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I thank you for wanting to be on the podcast. I didn't think anybody would want to, but, you know, this was definitely a good experience for me, at least.
I'm always down to support the boys.
Yep. I have, I want to try to get every member of Boysville on the podcast, and then have Boysville as a collective on one episode.
That's going to be chaotic.
It really will, but it'll make good for content, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, you know, I appreciate it, man. I love you. You're one of the dopest people I've ever met. I want to see where you go in life and just be there 100%, regardless, the ups, the downs, the goods, the bads, the bars, the not bars, you know.
The not bars. Yeah, definitely. I think we're going to be like friends for life, and I'll definitely try to. Like, you're one of the people that I want to keep in touch with, like, all the time.
100%.
There you go.
Yeah. Before you leave, do you want to shout out anybody? Or any organization? Uplift anybody?
I don't know. I want to say a shout out to basically, like, I don't know, everybody's that's been there for me through everything, like all my friends, family, Gwen, Boysville, you, especially you. I don't really have like a business or anything to shout out, but all those people that like we know from school that are doing businesses now. Like, I don't know, it's definitely interesting to see them doing their own thing. So if y'all know about that, y'all check them out.
Yeah, that's what's up. We at the age of chasing our dreams while we still can, so might as well start now. And if it fails, we'll have time to recover.
Exactly.
But yeah, man, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. I'd like it if you were to come back at a later episode. But
I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm really interested to see all your other episodes and all the episodes that you've teased in this episode here about those stories. And I'm excited to see what you do with James and Sergio. It's definitely going to be interesting. I'll definitely be tuning in.
Yeah, like part of me is excited. The other part is like kind of concerned. But, you know, it's whatever. It's Boysville. We get it done regardless. So
Exactly.
Oh, man. Well, shoot, what was my outro? Crap. Okay. I got my outro.
Yeah, okay.
So, if you enjoyed this episode, I highly recommend... Crap, that was good. I just stopped talking. Okay. If you enjoyed this episode, I highly recommend that you follow the Hawks Lounge podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast. Become a member of the flock by subscribing to the YouTube channel and turning on post notifications. And if you feel so inclined, join the Discord for a chance to share your stories. If you or somebody you know has a business or is a content creator, please feel free to fill out the corresponding forms below for a shout out at the end of an episode. With all of that being said, I appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to listen to the story today. Stay tuned for the next episode. See you later.
See ya.